Step into the Incense and Whiskey sanctuary with mindfulness enthusiasts and verified whiskey lovers, Mecca and Ashley, as they discuss all the random topics they love, from mindfulness to memes. This is Ashley.
And this is Mecca. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, Mecca.
How are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
I am stupendous. I'm great.
Okay.
I want to go. So this is part two of this food series.
Yeah.
Or I spoke about Culinary Reiki, and today I want to explore cooking meditation. So cooking is a form of meditation.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that before?
I have not. Let me say, I thought you said cookie meditation at first, and I was like, ooh, tell me more. But cooking meditation. No, I have not heard of that, but I believe that exists because I've heard of like walking meditation, etc. So it makes sense to me that there's a cooking meditation.
I mean, we can create a cookie meditation, but
listen, I'm here for that. We're gonna talk
meditation
about it.
Is a cooking meditation is a form of movement meditation. You know, there's several different forms of meditation out there. Spiritual focus, transcendental meditation. Like there's so much out there. So cooking, in my opinion, is a form of movement meditation, right?
Okay.
So if you look at the definition of it, movement meditation is a meditative state, a shift of consciousness while doing simple movements. It's a way of calming the mind and creating awareness. And so when you're cooking, there's simple movements that's going on. You have you're actually doing a lot of like repetitive movements. So repetition is relaxing and therapeutic because you're focusing only on one task at hand. And cooking is full of repetitive actions, right? You have cutting, peeling, stirring, grating, mixing. Like there's all these different repetitive actions that you take when you're cooking.
All of that makes sense to me.
So it's one of those things like, that's kind of like your focal point, right? And so on the last episode, I talked about, creating this ritual around infusing a feeling that you want to have within your food. But when we're talking about the cooking meditation part of it, it's like, it's one of those things that, you can kind of put it in the sense of mindful cooking if you want to. It's like it's an opportunity to kind of like anchor your mind and give your full attention on all your senses, sights, sounds, smells, and tune into them. And when you're tuning into all of those things, you're just focusing on that piece, which can also lead you into a meditative state.
That makes sense to me.
Does it?
Because you may because I'm imagining the like tasting like a broth or something for seasoning. And so that's the taste sense. You're smelling your ingredients, you're seeing what you're measuring. Maybe you're listening for if something's boiling. You feel the temperature. All that makes sense to me. Also, it makes me think of like maybe that's a part, like there are people who are really about baking.
Yes.
Baking, and they see it as relaxing, and that could probably be because of the repetition with baking. And the focus, baking takes focus in terms of thinking about the measuring and ingredients, the sequencing of ingredients and stuff. So I could see how that could put you in a meditative state.
I always hear baking can be therapeutic. It's like a chance to slow down and practice mindfulness and being aware of what you're cooking and you're eating. Right. Yeah. So it's just like, it gives you a sense of like focal, I don't know if you've heard of people say, I like, some people don't say this, so just bear with me when I say this. I actually like to hand wash my dishes because it gives me focus, or maybe an idea pops up because I'm in the shower or I'm, washing dishes.
No, that's really real. Okay. I'll tell you this. My husband wants a Roomba, like so bad. He really wants a Roomba. And I have said, I don't want a Roomba because I enjoy vacuuming. And I like, it's like meditative for me.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to outsource that. I want to continue to do the vacuuming myself.
It's something about those small, simple movements that kind of like create a euphoria feeling a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you have to pay attention, especially in like the preparation of food and cutting things, right? Because you don't want to harm yourself.
Yep.
And so, yeah, there's just like focus, as you're talking about, that you have to place on it when you're preparing and cooking food. So, absolutely makes sense to me.
What I've noticed is that slow cooking, I mean, brings it on the most, right? Any type of meal that you're doing that's a slow cooked meal. I mean, of course, it can be done with pretty much anything that you do prepare, unless you're microwaving it, because that might be a little quicker. But I've noticed that, like with slow cooking, it's always a way to focus your attention, because there's just this time that you're waiting. It could be like when you're making risotto. In my opinion, risotto is like a slow cook.
Oh yeah.
There's so many different little steps that you go through to get it to where you have your finished product. But like, if you're thinking about like how do you set this up for yourself, it's just like, once you have like all your ingredients out, whatever it is that you could just be chopping up vegetables. So I always say, just kind of notice all the colors of the food that you have.
Yeah.
Like all the colors, the vegetables, the fruit, or the proteins that you're using, and just kind of like looking at them from a colorful like standpoint, like a rainbow. And then just try to feel like the overwhelming energy of like the food that you're about to cook, like looking at the water when it's boiling, the veggies and the proteins as they're sizzling, you can hear them. And then like the sounds and the smells that come from, whatever it is. Maybe it's some spice, a butter, some oil that's popping. It's just one of those, like, if you just tune into it, play some relaxing music. Sometimes I play bossa nova or binaural beats when I'm cooking. But if you can kind of create a ritual around it, I would suggest it for anyone that's like, oh, I really want to meditate, I don't have time, or I can't sit still. And maybe this is a person that does like to cook, or maybe this is something that they do for themselves. It could just be that they're cooking for themselves. Maybe they don't love to cook, but this is something they practice every day. In some form, we are preparing meals for ourselves. Form. So I feel like it's one of those things that can kind of be like, tapped into and used as a way to kind of quiet your mind, and really focus in, right? Because it's just mindfulness. We know that meditation is a way to kind of like isolate your thoughts, quiet the mind, and just kind of sit with whatever you're feeling, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And that same feeling can happen while you're cooking.
I'm into that. So you're creating a sensory culinary experience, or you're like focusing in on the sensory aspect of your cooking, something you're already probably doing anyway, but just kind of like slowing it down and tuning in and having a more meditative state of mind while you're doing it. I'm with that.
Yeah, it's like a chance to escape the worries and stress of the day and just focus on creating something delicious. Like,
I feel like I've experienced this very infrequently, I'll say, because often, just the way that my life has been for the last few years, I think often when I'm cooking, it's just like I'm cooking for the purpose of like eating as quickly as possible, or I waited too late, like whatever. But a few months ago, before it was like warmer outside, I decided I wanted to make a vegetable stew, and I made it with like no recipe, Mecca.
Ooh, I like that.
Like, I went and I was like, I'm gonna get this rainbow Swiss chard. I've never cooked rainbow Swiss chard before.
That's beautiful.
I'm gonna get this. I was getting all kinds of bok choy, like things that I don't normally cook with on a regular basis.
Right.
Or I do have a specific recipe when I'm cooking with them. But I was really like in the produce section, thinking about colors,
right? Yeah,
and just picking up all these different things, and was like, I'm just gonna put them in this pot and it's gonna slow cook and it's gonna be fine. I put my little diced tomatoes in there, like to, you know, get my liquid or what. I think I probably added a little veggie broth just to like starter set here.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be amazing. And I think I ate that vegetable stew for like a whole week.
Oh, I love it. So it sounds like it turned out really good.
It did, but I do remember feeling in the process, like really smelling these ingredients because a lot of them were newer for me or things that I don't use often. And because I was using so many vegetables, right? Like I had to cook down certain things so that I could add others. Yeah, and it was really, that's probably the last time that I really remember slowing down and really focusing in on what I was making. And then I remember feeling like I was in a really pleasant mood afterward. And I enjoyed the food more.
See?
And I enjoyed it more after.
You were like, you were imbu. They call it imbu, like spread or diffuse through, right? So because of that, it's like when we cook, you're using your hands, so we like imbue the state of being in that moment, like whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
So I bet that soup tastes amazing because you sound
it did to me.
So
I mean, I was the only one eating it really. I feel like my husband might have tried it, but I don't think he was like, this is the bomb. This is the best. Like, first of all, he's not like a vegetable stew kind of person. I feel like maybe that was
where's the meat?
Yeah, he was like, okay, this is fine. Like, this is good. Why are you so hype over here? But I mean, it was the experience of preparing it and knowing what I put into it and taking my time with it and how I felt. So,
yeah, I love that. So, exactly, the form of cooking, a form of meditation. We would love to hear if you guys have any experience or any examples that you guys have experienced during cooking.
Let us know and share some recipes also.
Recipes, some slow cooking recipes. Catch us next time on Incense and Whiskey.
In the meantime, take a breath, have a sip,